The Battle of the Alamo. We've all heard the story of how Anglo-Saxon settlers sacrificed themselves in the name of freedom and independence against a Mexican dictator and his savage army. But what if I told you that story is a myth? Let's talk about it. See, in the early 1820s, Spanish Mexico, when it was still ruled by Spain, allowed for European settlers to come in and help them fight against the Comanche. But those European settlers had other ideas. They knew that the area now known as Texas was good for growing cotton, and they wanted to monetize off of that. But when Mexico won its independence from Spain, and Mexico wanted to outlaw slavery, Steve Austin, the quote-unquote father of Texas, didn't like that too much. And due to this discord, the Mexican government was afraid that Texas would break off from Mexico, which eventually happened. But because there were so many white immigrants coming in and they were starting to outnumber that region, Mexico struck a deal and said that they could keep the slaves that they already had, but they could not import any more. But because of all the back and forth going on and changes in government, in 1824, the Mexican government said that the issues of slavery would be left to each state. And then by 1827, Mexico started curbing slavery altogether. And they allowed for the Anglo-Saxons to import slaves for 6 more months. But then that got stopped immediately after a new government took root. And because of the enforcement of these laws, talks of war began. As one Mexican military commander stated, "Many have announced to me that there will be a revolution if the law takes effect. Austin's colony would be the first to think along these lines. It was formed for slavery, and without her, inhabitants would be nothing." And due to talks of secession and war, crackdowns were made and taxes were imposed. And Steve Austin stated in a letter, "Nothing is wanted but money, and Negroes are necessary to make it." And because cotton was booming, it boosted illegal immigration into Texas. Yes, you heard that right. White people illegally immigrating into Texas, Mexico territory, which became a huge problem. And due to these illegal white immigrants not wanting to let go of slavery, this is what sparked the Battle of the Alamo, which eventually led to the Mexican-American War, the succession of Texas, Manifest Destiny, and the expansion of the United States westward, and how half of Mexico became the southwestern United States, and when that imaginary border was created, all because white people wanted to keep slaves. And that is the real story on how the Battle of the Alamo started.